chances, dreams and goals. Many mixed emotions in my heart and soul. For some I made a plan and did the best I can. If God wills, things can happen. After all, I'm just a man. Choices, chances, dreams and goals. Many mixed emotions in my heart and soul. For some I made a plan and did the best I can. If God wills, things can happen. After all, I'm just a man.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome to Huda TV, to our very new program, Life Choices. Last week we brought you an episode on self-development. Because we had so much to talk about, we're going to extend it to another episode. Inshallah, we're joined with Brother Adam Sulaiman. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah.
How are you going?
Alhamdulillah.
Thanks
Everything's fine, brother.
Alhamdulillah. And Brother Zakir, how are you, brother?
Alhamdulillah. Doing great.
Alhamdulillah. And Brother Kareem.
Yeah.
How are you going? Welcome to the program, Life Choices. Okay, so just on the topic of self-development, an ayah which I think is very relevant to this topic is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala when He says, فَأَمَّا مَنْ أَعْطَى وَاتَّقَى وَصَدَّقَ بِالْحُسْنَى. What can you share with us, Zakir?
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. It's a very beautiful verse, Brother Muhammad, you shared with us. We can get a lot of lessons from this, but trying to relate it with what we're discussing today, if someone is faced with a very, very difficult situation where basically their deen and their, their choice that they have right in front of them, basically their deen is being compromised. This is where, as a sincere, devout Muslim, we have to back out and we have to say no. If Allah will be displeased with this decision that I'm about to make, then I'm not going to take it. Whether it's a job, whether it's for marital purposes, whatever the case is, right? If it's displeasing to Allah, and if we withdraw from that to please Him, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will provide us something even greater than that. So I'm sure you guys had experiences such as this, or people who went through something similar to this. I can think of many people who did go through such situations where maybe they had a really good job, for example, right? And because of their deen, they were dismissed or laid off or something like that, fired. Eventually, they found something even better, and that was something which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala provided them. And for that moment, Allah tested them to see if they were going to be patient with this. We were discussing the decree, the decision of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and this person. So this is something which we see throughout our whole lives in many different forms. So it comes back to this whole idea of development that we're talking about, because yes, we will fail, and yes, we will be challenged with difficult situations. But it's important for us to make sure that we stay strong and we rely upon Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we place our tawakkul in Him, and we try our best. As the Prophet ﷺ, he taught us from the man who ties his camel and then places the trust in Allah. Not just leave the camel outside and say Allah will take care of the camel. Right? Before we leave our car, we make sure everything is turned off, we get out, we close the doors, and then we say, inshallah, everything will be okay. So just like this, our life it revolves around these concepts. We have to try our best, and then we place the rest, our trust to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.
So basically, when we're faced with a hard decision, with something that's conflicting with our religion, we should look at pleasing Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and then hoping that the outcome is going to be better for us. Like how many examples of, as you said, people who were in a job and they were sacked for whatever reason it may be, relating to their religion, whether it was a bid or praying during work time. But they chose to put Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala first, and Allah has rewarded many of those people. I know of many examples in the workforce.
Yeah, for one, I'm one of those examples, because I suffered from what some people like to call the lure of the Western culture. I used to live in California, which is like Western United States, and definitely that was a big problem, but some bad events led to me wanting a serious change, and when my father offered me to come to Egypt, subhanAllah, I took the offer, and I'm learning more about Islam every day, and it's bringing truly amazing things in my life that I can't really express with words to do it justice, but the feeling is undeniable, and I really appreciate everything that has happened here in Egypt.
But really, I want to ask you, most of the people would think, yeah, you are leaving USA to come to our country,
Right.
and you call this self-development.
I receive that a lot.
Yeah, right?
They tend to think like a lot of Muslims, they say they go there for that, like to
Yeah.
go away from the religion. But,
Yeah,
and you're
right.
coming in.
SubhanAllah, may Allah guide them, because really that's such an empty way of living. You get no substance whereas you're doing something for the sake of Allah and you're really trying to do something good for yourself and for others. There's nothing like giving all you have to give.
So it's all about the hope, you know. You gotta have the hope when you're doing something for the sake of Allah. You gotta hope that that the outcome is going to be better for you,
Sure.
because Allah Subhanahu wa Taala is not going to put you in a position and test you in your religion if it wasn't for the best. So we have to know that everything that happens with the wisdom from Allah Subhanahu wa Taala.
Yes.
I think that's a really important point to remember.
Absolutely.
You made me remember a story, actually. This story for me was really funny, because it talks about someone who went to work in Microsoft. He was someone who is really normal person, so he went to work in Microsoft, and they asked him, okay, but actually we don't have any vacancies. So the guy felt so bored, and he started to seek everywhere for another job, but he didn't find. So he came back to Microsoft, and he asked them, you don't have any vacancies? He said, we have only one vacancy. It is to work in cleaning bathrooms. This is all what we have. So the man told himself, actually, cleaning bathrooms in Microsoft is better than nothing. So let's take the chance. He said, okay, I do agree. He said, okay, taking his details. What's your email? He said, oh, sorry? Email. I don't have an email. You want to work in Microsoft and you don't have an email. Sorry, you are rejected. We cannot work with you. I will do it. No, thank you. You are ignorant in PCs. So the one went out, he has all the sadness. You know this, we have a proverb in Egypt, like I accepted what is bad and the bad is not accepting me. We have something like this. I accepted cleaning bathrooms in the streets and Microsoft, but although I'm rejected. So he went with all the failure inside his heart, all the failure in front of his eyes. So he felt hungry. He said, okay, I'll buy some strawberry. He bought with all the money he has some strawberries. And he started to eat. After a while he felt, I'm fulfilled. But if I left it, it will not be okay to eat after that. So what I will do, I will sold it. I will sell it. This is the best thing. So he started to sell it. He sold it with amazing prices. He couldn't imagine that he can do this that good way. So he was thinking, what about getting this money and buying another strawberry? He started to do this. After 10 years, this person was the first one for exporting strawberries in his country. And he was doing a deal with someone giving him a strawberry. And he said, yeah, tell me your email. He said, oh, I don't have an email. He said, oh, you need all of that, and you don't have this knowledge of PCs, you don't have an email? What if you have an email? What you would do? He said, oh, on that time I will be a bathroom cleaner. Really, when I heard this story for the first time, I was, yes, if he has email now, he was only someone who cleans bathrooms. not this big one who experts strawberries. So really sometimes give you things, and you think that this is the worst thing I had in my life, and you find that the opportunity wasn't this. If you didn't pass through this, you were not going to develop. We develop by barriers. We develop by problems. How I can trust the manager in the company where I do consultancy? The manager that I trust is the manager who passed through the worst things ever. Why we always feel that we trust someone from the army when we are in a disaster like earthquake or something?
Because they have more experience.
Yeah, he saw everything bad. What will be worse than this? So for him, earthquake is something normal. The same. As long as you are a manager who faced a lot of problems, as long as you are a person who faced a lot of problems, your failure is not something to get you down. It's something to make you develop, as long as you are realizing this. Because some people go through, and I see this a lot in trainings, I went through 20 interviews. And what did you do? I'm rejected in all of them. So you are expert in rejection. You have this expertise in rejection. Actually, you have only not to have the bad experience, but you have to have the passion that we talked about the last week, the intention to learn from such failures. I'm focusing with myself to learn from it.
Also the patience. I mean, you need a lot of patience, especially when it comes to things like personal development. You have to have patience when you fail. Because if you don't have the patience, because, I mean, as we said last episode, no one's born into success. It's something that you got to work at. So I guess patience is a big one.
Definitely. Working hard goes hand in hand with patience, because sometimes the results will take time to bear. The fruits of our labor will take time. So we need to be patient with that. Maybe I'm doing something one way, but it's not working out. So I have to be patient and move on and try something else. Try a different technique. Try a different method. Maybe try talking to a different person to see if it works, right? So these are different, mechanisms for us, so to say. But patience is very, very important for self-development, without a doubt.
Try to imagine if Thomas Edison has no patience. He did 10,000 trial. He succeeded in the trial number 10,000. So he has 999 fail cases.
But see, it's also about having hope after patience.
Yeah.
Sure.
You need the hope after patience, don't you reckon?
We all know Michael Jordan.
Yeah.
The famous basketball player.
Famous
Yeah,
basketball
yeah.
player, right? He once said that, he missed the most shots out of anyone that he can think of, right?
He was a high school dropout, I believe, right?
I'm not exactly sure, but...
Or he couldn't make the high school basketball team.
Oh.
Yeah.
So because he said that he failed in making so many shots, but at the end, look at Michael Jordan. When you hear basketball, you think Michael Jordan. So he had that hope, as you were mentioning, but at the same time, that patience, he was failing to make those shots, but hard work and effort and patience and everything, and hope that one day I will.
Someone who didn't have hope or patience would have probably stopped after the third shot.
Oh.
Yeah.
If you've missed 3 shots, that's
Right.
it. You're going to stop. But it's the hope and the patience that there's going to be something better. If you keep on trying.
Exactly.
And I'm sure Michael Jordan didn't just keep on shooting. I'm sure he practiced
Exactly.
a lot.
It's all about practice.
Probably searched techniques on how to be a basketball player.
Sure.
Tips from the professionals in the game.
Sure.
Because it's not just hope and patience, it's also skill. It's developing those skills.
Do your best and let God do the rest.
Yeah, exactly right. It's like as we said, tying the camel.
Mm.
You got to put your own
Yeah.
effort in there.
Exactly.
Exactly. And this is how we learn also. Because if you don't have patience to learn, you will never have this knowledge. If the student get bored from the second year, he will never be able to learn. If he got bored from the second book, if you read a lot and you get bored from the second book, you will not have a lot of knowledge that you have in the rest of the books. You have to always have this patience. But how I can get patience? By always focusing on the result. This is a very simple tool. As long as you see where I'm going to reach, as long as I will have patience, because I trust. We were just talking about Allah. I have the faith in Allah, and I have the trust inside me that I see what you don't see. I know that I'm going to reach there.
Jannah, sah?
Yeah, in everything, whatever it was, Jannah in the afterlife, or it was something like a goal in this life, achievement in this life. By the way, I was, before I worked as a trainer, a lot of people beside me, from my friends especially, training was not that popular in Egypt. So they said, oh, no, you cannot be a trainer. This is very difficult. We only have about 5 trainers across Egypt. But really, when I was listening to them, I didn't feel it. I see what I want to be, and I'm sure that I'm going to be that trainer.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people tried to tell me, you are imagining. All what I was seeing with every and each word, myself as a trainer. After a time, we met again. And I told them, did you reach what you want? Said no. Actually, people said that we cannot reach it. I told them, okay, welcome, I'm a trainer. It's all about what I used to see in my life. I used to believe with no single doubt that I will reach this. And beside patience, having flexibility. That you are flexible. I remember always the story of the fly that was trying to get out of the window. So it come to fly very hard, and it crashed in the window, so it fell down. It tried again and fell down. Try again and fell down. Till it died. Why it died? She's not flexible. All what it needs is to change the path out of the window. There is a window, so as long as you're trying to do the same thing, you will fail.
Well, thank God we have intellect and ability to think outside the box.
Yeah.
To go around these obstacles.
Exactly
Find
right.
another way. Open the window.
Imagine if we don't open the windows.
That's right, we're never going to know if we don't open up the window. Inshallah, stay with us. We'll be right back after this short break.
I've been asked today to talk about the Quran and the modern world.
The religion that is acceptable to Almighty Creator is Islam.
Allahumma salli ala Muhammad.
The more you know about him, the more you realize how you want to be like him.
For every messenger, a prophet that Allah has sent, Allah gave him one dua.
Allah sent prophets after prophet, messenger after messenger to remind everyone, don't deny the Creator.
La ilaha illallah.
Iyyaka na'budu wa iyyaka nasta'een. Thee alone we worship, and Thee alone we seek help.
Allahumma salli ala Muhammad.
Never on this planet walked such a person as Muhammad sallallahu alaihi
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Welcome back to our very new program on Huda TV, Life Choices. Last week we brought you a segment on self-development, and today we are continuing on with it again because it's such a rich topic to talk about. Just before the break, Brother Karim, you were talking about your own achievements.
Yeah.
One thing I want to mention is that all of that, it wasn't by your own doing. It was actually by the grace of Allah.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's I think a very important thing to remember, that everything that we're blessed with, it's from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, not from our own doing. I mean, sure, we need to strive and we need to commit and put our own effort in, but at the end of the day, it's all from the grace of Allah.
Yeah, because without Allah, we are nothing. Without Allah, all the plans will fall down. We don't have a plan without this this trust in Him. He said that the one who will do his job, he will get what he deserves. Why? Because he has justice. He is al-adl. Whenever you do effort, he gives you. But he gives you according to the best for you. That's what we always say to people. Don't think that Allah gives you what you want, but He gives you what you need.
Right.
And this is more important. Because if I'm getting all what I want, I will destroy myself actually, because I don't know what is good for me.
Exactly.
I don't have the ability to ask Him for the best. Maybe you ask Him for a car, and this car will do the first accident on
That's
earth.
right. You don't know what's best for you.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
You're always asking Him. That's why we always, in the praise, when we pray to Allah, we ask Him, Allahumma arina al-haqqa haqqa. Please let us see the right as it is, that it is right. Why? Because if you didn't show to me, I will never be able to understand it. I will never be able to get it. And this is the difference between people who pass through beauty and they see it, and another people who pass through life and they see nothing. It's a big difference. And I remember one of the masters' story is, this wisdom people, this old wisdom people that we used to listen about their stories. One of them was talking to his student. He used to live in a very big place with a big garden, hills everywhere and mountains, the beauty everywhere. So he told him, have you ever saw this beauty of this castle? He said, no. He said, okay, I want you to take this cup or this bowl of milk and take around the castle. Okay? But I have one condition. Don't let one drop outside this bowl. So the guy went and took a big round. After that he came. The bowl was fulfilled. No dropouts. He said, okay, what did you see? Nothing. I was just looking for the bowl, the milk not to go out. He said, okay, get me this bowl. Take around the castle. He took around. After that he came back. He had the bowl with him. But he didn't tell him to keep it fulfilled. He took the round. After that he came. He told him, what did you see? He told, everything, it's beautiful. I saw a lot of butterflies. I saw hills. I saw mountains. And he started to talk about the beauty surrounding the castle. Then he said, what did you do with the bowl? It was approximately empty. He said, why you didn't keep it? He thought, I was watching. Told him, this is life. You have to care about what you have. And at the same time, don't lose the beauty around you. This is actually a very accurate meaning for self-development. We are developing ourselves without losing life. We live for the afterlife. But God also, who will let us live for the afterlife, told us that we have to get and achieve in this life.
Sure. That's right. So it's about focusing on the ultimate objective.
Exactly.
Inshallah, we'll go to this very interesting clip and we'll be right back. think it's an important point that video brought up. Never give up.
Never give up, yeah.
Never give up.
And it's actually related to the last story that we were talking about. If you are going to focus on the milk and you will leave life, you will give up. Because you will not see anything good except
the bowl of milk.
Yeah, the bowl of milk. Because, actually I talk a lot with people from everywhere, new Muslims and all Muslims, everything. And I used to see that we have a very main question. I want to develop, but I'm not happy. You know, someone who went to the life fresh and he started to work every day. Day and night he's working, he's doing everything. After a while, what he reached that he is sick. He cannot work anymore. They have been retired him early. He cannot enjoy the rest of his life. He cannot remember the joy that he passed through. What is this the result that we need to reach? And on the same time, if we started to be on the second round of the guy, which is focusing on all the beauty around, with no caring about the afterlife, what we will, no way we will reach and we will see one day, and this is the aim of being here in this life, you will lose it. You will lose the milk inside the bowl. And when you do everything good in life and you get all the joy and happiness, after that, when you reach, you will find nothing to get you into heaven. So, what we want to tell people that you can enjoy everything through caring about the afterlife.
So it's more about a balance then, isn't it? Seeking like a middle path and sticking onto it, you know, not to be too focused on the worldly aspects and not to be, you know, to seek a middle path. So worrying about the Day of Judgment and at the same time worrying about your world. I mean, we're not saying spend, you know, 24 hours in the masjid praying and worshipping, because this is not from Islam.
It's not possible.
Exactly.
Very beautiful point you both mentioned. And if we just look at, for example, the life of the companions, the 10, for example, who were promised paradise, look at how successful they were in this dunya. They had great businesses, right? They were merchants, right? They had trade. They had, you know, great, investments in this dunya while they were here, right? We know Abdurrahman ibn Auf, such a wealthy companion of the Prophet, right? They said that when he used to come from his trade, they were able to see his caravan from such a huge, from such a far distance, right? And when he went to Medina, you know, they were going to help him out, you know, provide him some, you know, assistance and stuff. He's like, no, just show me where the market is, you know?
Yeah.
So look at how passionate, you know, sincere, hardworking these people were. And because of that, they attained goodness in this world and definitely in the hereafter, inshallah. So we learn a great lesson from these great people, that these are not just stories we read in the books, but rather these are living examples, living role models that we can follow and try to imitate, so that we can achieve this this bliss, this beauty, as Brother Kareem and Brother Muhammad were mentioning.
Yeah, and this is opposite for some new scientists try to or business people try to deliver for us with wrong messages. We have a lot of wrong messages that we receive as Muslims. Like this famous word of DHawk. DHawk, you know, the person who did Visa cards, who innovated Visa cards. His name is DHawk.
Okay.
He has a word, he say, you know the problem where it is? The problem is not how to get new innovative thoughts into your mind, but the problem is how to get the old ones out. When you focus on such word, you know.
Can you say that again?
The problem is not how to get new innovative thoughts into your mind, but the problem is how to get the old ones out.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah, but we can say this is poison and honey. Yeah.
Sounds a bit like it.
Because he wants to generalize something like this. So we have to forget everything, religion, concepts, beliefs, to change everything. We have to get new innovative thoughts. I do agree that those people, they have to do so. Because what they have in mind from the old days, they really need to change.
It's all falsehood.
I think
None of
our,
it's true.
for
But
example,
our past,
Our
our
past is
past,
beautiful.
you know, exemplary
Yeah.
past.
Makes us who we are.
It defines who we are as Muslims, as human beings. Touching on that, subhanAllah, Islam didn't come to take out what people already had from their brains. It just came to confirm the good that existed among the people and, you know, clarify, modify, maybe just redirect, you know, the wrong practices and the wrong ideas which people had in their minds,
to develop it.
to develop it. SubhanAllah.
This is Islam. And this is how we want people to think. You can have everything and having the afterlife. You don't have to sacrifice with one of them, actually.
There's an analogy, the ocean. Imagine there's a boat and then it's on the sea.
Yeah.
The sea is the dunya, and the
Ah.
boat is the boat of the akhirah. So you're in there. You can take some water here and there, to use it. If you need some fish, go ahead. But the second you let the water, cover the boat, and just overwhelm the boat,
Wow,
what's gonna happen?
it's amazing example.
It's gonna drown.
actually.
Yeah.
I like
Same
that.
thing. This is what we're living in. We're living in the sea of this dunya. Take what we need to succeed, right, in our lives here, but don't let it overwhelm us and flood us to the point where we lose everything.
Yeah. So we need only to focus. For us, we want to convert this message. We need new and innovative thoughts to create what we already did, to complete what we already did.
We don't want to lose our identity in the process.
Exactly. I remember a father from these old days. He was full of wisdom, and he used to have his child with him. So he was talking with him about developing yourself and doing hard work and doing this and doing that. And the child get bored of this father stuff, when your father is nagging on your head about this stuff. So when he was in the forest, he saw a lion having a goat or something, meat in his mouth, and he got a part of it and he left it. After a while, a blind fox came out of a cave and got this part of meat and get it back inside. So the guy wanted to be philosopher. So he started to act with his father and he said, "You look, I don't need to work hard. Here is the fox, he got what he needs without any work. He just got out of his cave, he found the meat in front of him." His father replied, an amazing reply actually. He said, "I wanted you to be a lion, that fox eat what he threw. Not a fox eat what has been thrown by lions."
MashaAllah, what a very beautiful story. Inshallah, we'll be right back after this short break. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome back to Huda TV, our very new program, Life Choices. Every week we discuss a topic that affects our life. Last week and this week's topic was about self-development. And let's just talk about the tools for self-development. I guess it's really important to know the tools we need to develop ourselves. Adam?
Yeah, well, in my opinion, it all starts with what you want to develop, where you want to be, what you want to ultimately set your mind and focus on. So say for example, for me personally, I want to be a good Muslim by the grace of Allah. So what I need to do is focus on the Quran and the Sunnah and learning everything I can about Islam from authentic sources, from scholars, and inshallah I can learn, step by step, just taking one step at a time. And I think it's very important, as we discussed earlier, to make a list of what we should do and make what we should do what we must do. And there's a joke, if you don't do what you should do and make it what you must do, then you might should all over yourself.
Yeah.
Very true.
Brother Zakir, what do you think the tools we need?
It varies from person to person, definitely, and what we're trying to achieve. in regards to youth development and how young people can try to become better people, better Muslims, because at the end this is our ultimate goal. This is how we desire to develop ourselves to become good people, at the same time good Muslims. So surrounding ourselves with good company, with people that can motivate us to really do what is pleasing to Allah, to do things which are praiseworthy in our deen. So having good company, surrounding ourselves with good people, and trying to use the resources that we have around us. So for example, where I'm from, New York, we have many scholars, mashallah. But sometimes people think like they have to go overseas to study deen. For example, as if their localities can't provide them the basic necessities in what they need to know about their deen. But we have so many great ulama and shuyukh there that can teach great books and Quran and Hadith and Islamic sciences and tajweed and all of these different things. So we have to use the resources that are around us at the same time. And for higher studies, for example, if something is not available there, that's when you move further. So these are just basic things which we can keep in mind, inshallah. And of course the list can go on and on, but Brother Kareem can carry on from here, inshallah.
Yeah, actually I see that we have a lot of tools. The most tool is our willing to change. This is the most important tool. We have to decide inside ourselves that we are going to change. We are going to see life from different perspective. We are going to develop. We are going to let go for the past. Anyone has his problems. Anyone pass through pain. Pain is the father of any innovation. They say always, the need is the mother of creativity. So the pain is its father, if they have parents. So all what you need is to let go for what happened, accept what you have now, and decide to change it. Because if you are not going to accept it, it will not change anything. Just accept it as it is. That's what you reached. That's what you did. Okay. You still have the tool to change it. Just decide and go on. Use all the resources, as Zakir said, everything that you can do. You have everything. You have the wisdom of God that we talked about that will support you in everything you do.
So if we look at an example, if you want to be, for example, a better Muslim, taking into consideration what you've just all said, we'll look at what Brother Adam said. So we're going to surround ourselves with the Quran and Sunnah. And then we're going to, as Brother Zakir said, we're going to surround ourselves with good people, put ourselves in a good environment. And then obviously the last one is to have the willpower to do it and to know, no pain, no gain. So I guess all these aspects, play into self-development. If we can summarize self-development, as we've discussed over the course of these 2 episodes, Brother Adam, how would you summarize it?
Brother, I would mention 3 points, 3 quotes that sort of inspire me to do better in my life. One is something I sort of stumbled upon with me and my dad just talking, and that is do your best and let God do the rest. It rhymes, and it's really true. If you do your best, God, inshallah, if you have good intention, you're doing for His sake, He will do the other end. And another thing is that if you live to give, Allah will make it easy for Him to forgive you. If your whole life is to give for the sake of Allah, then anything you do will make easy for, if you make a mistake, He will forgive you because He knows that the intention in your heart is to give for His sake. And I would close by telling the viewers at home to remember that the choices that you make will make your life.
Yeah, that's very, very interesting. Brother...
Jazakallah khair, Brother Adam, for these beautiful quotes. Really, we heard a lot of beautiful things, so it's hard to sort of summarize what we discussed in the previous 2 episodes. But again, just keep your eyes on the prize, as we say. Just keep pushing yourself. Don't let your shortcomings or your failures prevent you from achieving higher goals. Just keep moving forward, make the best out of all these different opportunities, and learn from the moment, learn from the experience, and enjoy this life, really.
That's true. For me, it's to summarize everything, I think that we have to start from the only start, which is God wisdom. God is beside us. You don't have to think about anything except that His wisdom is everywhere, and He's supporting you with all what you have to do, as long as you are the one who deserves that. You will deserve it by doing effort, by praying for Him, by caring about your future, by your decision to change everything around you, by being flexible, by being patient, by being having a vision for the future, by focusing on what you need to develop, by being frank with yourself, that you will say to yourself, oh, the problem that I had in my life. And we have to remember what Michelangelo said before in his wisdom word, when he said, our problem is not that our aim is too high and we'll miss it, but our problem is that our aim is too low and we'll reach it. This is our real problem, actually. Our aims are too low. We don't have aims, actually. We just dream to live this life without achievement, this easy life. No, you have to put the highest aims ever, because you deserve it, and because this is your message in life. This is what I can sum up.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's if I was to summarize self-development, it's keeping your eye on the prize. I guess that's a main one, and it's setting the intention right.
Yeah,
the intention is very, very important. So, are you going to set your intention based on a worldly matter? Because anything you can do it for the sake of Allah. If you're going to go to sleep, you can make it for the sake of Allah. So, I'm going to go to sleep, for example, so I can wake up early for Fajr. And this way, the whole 8 hours I've spent sleeping, inshallah, is rewarded because my intention was for the sake of Allah, as opposed to just going to sleep for the rest. Or anything it may be. Going to work, as opposed to I'm going to work to earn money. I'm going to work to earn money to feed my family. To provide a proper Islamic education for my children. So it's all about setting the right intention, I think, very importantly.
I wanted to add also, it's a topic of itself, the concept of ihsan. While we carry out these actions, we should try to really aim high and do it in the best fashion. The Prophet said that surely Allah prescribed excellence in everything. Inna Allah kataba al-ihsana ala kulli shay. So whatever we do in our life, whether it be praying, whether it be working, whether it be just trying to eat healthy, live healthy, stay healthy, right? These kind of things, just doing it, but doing it the best way, right? So this is something which, if we have in mind that I'm doing this, and I will be rewarded for it by Allah.
And refuse to accept anything less than the best.
Yeah, exactly right. And subhanAllah, I mean, the journey to self-development, doesn't just end here in these 2 episodes. It's up to, everyone to go back and to do their own research, to look into it. Take out a pen and paper, write down, what they want to develop new skills. If they're working in education, for example, to develop on.
We can say that the journey is going to start, not going to end.
That's right. We're giving you the tools. To start the journey.
To start your journey.
To study deeply in your specific field, right? If you're in the medical field, to keep up with scholarly journals, with the latest research, keeping up with the news, what's going on. This is the latest discoveries in your specific field. This will help you develop yourself further in your career, outside of your workplace, and all of these different atmospheres. So alhamdulillah, this is a great opportunity for us to really keep in mind, inshallah, and not just let these 2 episodes be the end of it, but just the starting.
Yeah, inshallah. It will be a start, and we are going to implement everything we are saying with everyone listening to us, because it's an opportunity for us to revise and to work on ourselves as well, because we are trying to do the same self-development, because it's a continuing process. It has no end. No one can say, oh, I developed. No. We still need our self-development as well. That's what we are going to plan to work on, actually. This is the main part.
Begin with the end in mind. So you're focusing on the benefits while you're working. So when you're working, it becomes easy because you have that feeling of you will get that success, and you're sure in yourself. And by the grace of Allah, He will bless you to achieve any goal you really set your mind to. And whenever you begin anything, start with that, like put in the back of your head, how is this going to end?
And just
in a good way.
When you start taste success, you will never be able to taste another thing. You will get used to taste this.
But first you need to taste failure.
Yeah, definitely. You have to.
You need to taste failure first before you can taste success. And that's another important thing that,
to be able to differentiate. Because if we don't have pain, we will never be able to understand when we are good.
That's right. So to understand success, we need to know failure first.
Yes.
To appreciate the blessing, you need to see when you don't have the blessing. To appreciate good health, when you're sick, you realize the worth, the value of being healthy.
Yeah.
When you don't have enough money, you realize what money is. When you lose a family member, a loved one, you realize what this person really was to you, right? When you lose your job, you realize how important that job was. So like this, when we lose a blessing, indirectly it is, or directly if you want to say, a lesson to us from Allah that, you have to be more grateful. And this reminds me of a hadith. The Prophet ﷺ said that how amazing is the situation of the believer, that every moment in his or her life is a moment to be thankful or is a moment to be patient. So when we are going through happiness and comfort in our life, it's time for us to be thankful to Allah for the blessings. But let's say, we're going through a difficulty or hardship, it's time to be patient and rely on Allah. So constantly we're in this mode of remembering Allah.
And I think patience can be linked to positivity, and this will eventually lead to progress if you stay positive and knowing the fact that Allah is watching over you.
Yeah, Jazakallah khair for all the responses today. Inshallah, our journey to personal development, our series on life choices doesn't end here. Inshallah, next week we'll talk about setting goals and objectives. Thank you very much for watching Life Choices right here on Huda TV. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Choices, chances, dreams and goals. Many mixed emotions in my heart and soul. For some I made a plan and did the best I can. If God wills, things can happen. After all, I'm just a man. Choices, chances, dreams and goals. Many mixed emotions in my heart and soul. For some I made a plan and did the best I can. If God wills, things can happen. After all, I'm just a man.